Hey everyone, you may have noticed I like Jurassic World Evolution 2, and you'd be correct about that. I love Jurassic World Evolution 2. It's my favorite game of all time, and as stupid as this sounds, the Jurassic World Evolution franchise has played a very important role in my life in the past 6 years. I first played the first game when I was 10 years old, and I've been playing the franchise ever since, and this is going to sound even stupider, but getting the first game as a 10-year-old was one of the most important things to ever happen to me. And please, just listen to me, I'll explain this. Now, this is going to be a very different type of video than I normally post, as it's going to be my entire history with Jurassic World Evolution as a franchise. So, I hope y'all enjoy. I've been a dinosaur nut ever since first grade, and a video game nut ever since third grade, but I really couldn't find any dinosaur games as a kid. I knew about the Isle, but I didn't have a computer, and that problem persisted for years. And don't get me wrong, I still played plenty of great games. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, for example. Banger game. But I needed something to scratch that itch. And I don't really know how I did, but eventually I came across the Jurassic World Evolution trailer, the original one that was CG, and I needed it. Never before have I been hyper fixated on getting something. I watched every single video I could find on it. The species profiles, the gaming beaver videos, the best in slot videos. I even remember going to GameStop one day and trying to get a physical copy because I thought it came out on June 12th, and it kinda did. Digital copies came out on June 12th, but physical copies came out on July 3rd, and I was pretty disappointed. Not mad, wasn't their fault or my fault, so I waited a few more weeks, but I watched every video I could find on the topic and on Jurassic World Evolution. My dad randomly told me while I was watching one of those videos that, "Hey Memphis, I ordered you that game," and I was thrilled. I would be at a summer camp when it got here, but I wasn't complaining, I got it anyway. The feeling of pure joy and excitement still gets me giddy to this day. And as I went to that summer camp, all I could think about was playing Jurassic World Evolution when I got home. I didn't play it immediately when I got home. I wanted to spend time with my family, but eventually, the day after I got home, I asked my father about it, and he handed me the case with the disc in it. I went upstairs, put in the disc, and I finally played Jurassic World Evolution. And I was hooked. I couldn't get enough of it. It was the only game I played for months on after, and I loved every bit of it. I felt like there was finally a game for me. And Jurassic World was the first game I bought paid DLC for. I first bought the Secrets of Dr. Wu and Cretaceous Dinosaur pack at the same time, and then later the Deluxe pack. And that was all I had for around a year. I noticed other packs and updates coming out, but I didn't have the money to buy them, and I didn't want to inconvenience my parents. But on Christmas Day, I remember getting some Xbox gift cards with enough money to buy an expansion and a dinosaur pack. I ultimately decided to buy Return to Jurassic Park and the Carnivore Dinosaur Pack. And over for the next few months, I completed my collection and bought all the DLCs by the next summer. And keep in mind that Return to Jurassic Park came out in December of 2019. So 2020 was the next year, and I believe y'all remember what happened in 2020. So I had plenty of time to play Jurassic World Evolution and all the content I just bought for it. And I was satisfied, and I went into middle school with Jurassic World Evolution, and I loved it. But after finishing 7th grade, I was getting tired of Jurassic World Evolution, and I ultimately decided to take a break from it. Immediately after that break, Jurassic World Evolution 2 was announced, and I was ecstatic. It got me straight out of my hiatus and got me back into the franchise. I sent my entire family the first trailer, and I kept up with every single piece of news. Evolution Square, Best in Slot, and the Gaming Beaver were my lifeline for months, and after the summer I finished and I went into 8th grade and I couldn't stop talking about it. My friends at the time made fun of me because of how much I loved it, and I couldn't keep my mouth shut about it. I brought it up in every single conversation, and I recently found out that a lot of people hated me in middle school, and honestly, I don't blame them. I really don't. And I remember when the Changosaurus species field guide came out, I sent it to my family, and my mom got mad at me for texting at school. But a week after the Changosaurus field guide, something massive happened. The pre-order trailer came out while I was in theater class. My friends were making fun of me for getting hyped during the trailer, but I didn't care. A Carnotaurus knocking down a Parasaurolophus, a Nizoodoceratops biting another Nizoodoceratops on the horns playfully, Tropoganathus, the Changosaurus versus Allosaurus fight, and the Mosasaur eating from the shark feeder. And I thought they were done when they showed us the logo, but they had one more thing to show us, the San Diego Amphitheater, and I was fucking hyped. And I remember leaving school and sending everything to my family immediately. All the pre-order content, the trailer, and everything. And for the next few days, all I could think about was the pre-order trailer. I watched it multiple times a day. And I even have a picture from when I bought the pre-order. But after I calmed down from the pre-order trailer, the next month was calm. A dev diary came out, and eventually all the big YouTubers got to test out the Jurassic Park San Diego Chaos Theory level. But I always felt like it was eternity away until the last dev diary came out, and I thought about it, and I realized that there was less than 2 weeks until the game released, and I started counting down the days. And then the creature roster was leaked, and I remember being vividly disappointed. I thought there would be more than 4 new dinosaurs in the base game. The only new dinosaur that wasn't shown before was Cryolophosaurus, but I quickly got over it, and the final piece of pre-launch media was released, the Cryolophosaurus Species Field Guide. And after that, I was hyped. There was only 6 days between that final Species Field Guide and release of the game, and I couldn't hold it in anymore. I remember vividly counting down the days. And after a few days, all the content creators got early access, and I wanted to watch all of it. But I forced myself to watch content only related to the dinosaurs. And the night before the game came out, I wanted to play it so badly that I forced myself to throw it into a trash can, stuff it in my closet, and pretend to be sick the day after. And I miraculously stayed home. And I spent my last minutes playing the first game while waiting for the second game to download. And then the trailer came out, and I finally got to play Jurassic World Evolution 2 for the first time, and I loved it. I played the campaign and the Lost World Chaos Theory level for the entire day. It was like nothing I've ever played before. The feeling of pure joy and excitement was indescribable, and I just kept playing. I even managed to unlock all the dinosaurs within a week, which is crazy because when the game first released, you had to get each creature up to 100% DNA and release it to unlock it in sandbox mode. The last dinosaur I unlocked was Dreadnoughtus, and I remember just sitting there and cheering. I was playing the Jurassic World Chaos Theory mode with negative money and a hurricane rolling through. And keep in mind, some people didn't even unlock all the dinosaurs. The GOAT! Evolution Squared didn't even unlock Dreadnoughtus. She only got it in Sandbox when they gave everyone all the dinosaurs. But I kept playing and playing and playing after that. And then something happened. They released a DLC only a month after the game came out, and everyone was perplexed. But looking back on it, all the creature designers still had to have a job. They were just continuing working on the creatures for the DLC. And specifically this, the early Cretaceous pack. I remember specifically buying it immediately when I got home, releasing the dinosaurs, and not really caring about them, which is shocking to me now. All of the creatures in that DLC are bangers, and they also added the ability to randomize your skins, and I just continued playing the game for the next few months until March of 2022, when I got tired of the game. The Camp Cretaceous pack released, and I wasn't really impressed, so I took a break from playing the game for a few months, and I switched to a few other games like The Isle and A Hat in Time in my hiatus. But 2 things brought me back in: the Dominion Biosyn expansion and the release of Jurassic World Dominion. Seeing the feathered dinosaurs in the game was something magical. I never thought this day would come. Seeing the Pyroraptor in the trailer was exhilarating, and they announced the release date to be June 14th. I was going to be home on June 14th. I was going to be at a wedding when it released, but I kept up with every single little bit of news. And I was in the Baltimore Aquarium when all the YouTubers got to show off all the content. I sat down and looked at a clip of the dinosaurs. For only a little bit. Come on, guys. I'm not a monster. I wanted to look at the puffins. And after I left Baltimore, I actually waited to play Jurassic World Evolution 2 until I saw Jurassic World Dominion. So my mother, father, and I got tickets to see Jurassic World Dominion, and I quite liked it. Looking back onto it, the movie sucks, but I liked it when I watch it. And after I got home from the theater, I bought the Dominion Biosyn campaign and played through the campaign. I didn't really remember much from my first go, but I do remember loving it. But for some reason, the quest wasn't in the campaign. Why? I think that's a pretty stupid decision. And before, I just played the game. But when I stopped this time, it wasn't really because I got bored of the game. I moved, so I didn't really have time to play the game. And during this time period, the Lake Cretaceous Predator pack came out. So I logged onto my Xbox account on my computer, and I tried playing it on my laptop for the first time. And I really started to take screenshots of Jurassic World Evolution 2. I'll show you my first one, and it sucks, but now, almost 2 years later, and it's one of my favorite things to do in the game. And then the hinges on my computer broke, because at the time I went to a lot of places and the hinges were poorly made, and I wasn't very careful with it, so a combination of all those things, and when I tried to fix the hinges, I pushed something in a wrong place and the screen broke. And for the next month after that, I took a break because there really was no option, until around Thanksgiving when we finally got settled into the house. We got the internet set up and we got the good old-fashioned Xbox out. But because the internet sucked at the time, the game took hours to download. So I decided to play the first game again, and it was fine. I mainly just wanted to look at Spinoraptor. But after hours of waiting, I could just play Jurassic World Evolution 2 again. And I did. I took screenshot after screenshot after screenshot, and I had tons of fun with that. And a few weeks after I got back into Jurassic World Evolution 2, another DLC released, the Malta DLC. And like the last expansion, I was excited. But the creatures weren't as exciting to me as the Biosyn DLC. But the new content was always a plus, and after a few days, I watched the YouTubers show off the new creatures, and the next day, I played the campaign. It wasn't as memorable as the Biosyn campaign, and I definitely felt disappointed looking back on it. They really felt like they were going somewhere with this DLC, but it felt like it was rushed. But at the end of the day, we got the GOAT Oviraptor! And after the hype died down, I went back to taking screenshots until February, where I wanted to take a break again. But in late March, they showed off a teaser image of a fluffy tail, and I was beyond ecstatic. I remember seeing it in 9th grade biology class, and a few days later, the Feathered Species pack was announced. And a few days after that, it was released. And it was amazing. Dinokairos was my most requested creature in the game. And Sinosauropteryx is now the cutest creature in the game. Besides Mimai. Mimai's still the GOAT. But importantly around this time, I got my start on YouTube, where I was posting Jurassic World Evolution 2 clips on my school Rome book. Yes, that sounds really stupid. And I'm glad I stopped that, but that started my YouTube scene and I'm happy about it. And as the month goes on, I put more videos on my first channel. And I take some of my best screenshots during the end of May, and I'll show some of them now to y'all. Jurassic Park 30 came and went, and it was a disappointment. The decorations were nice, but there was no DLC for a long time after that. And like many previous times, I was getting out of the game, and then another DLC brought me back in. This time, the Aquatic Pack, and I will say, Nothosaurus is overhated, and I loved it so much, but I'll keep that to a later discussion. I continued playing the game, and eventually in late September, I created my modern YouTube channel, Dinosaurs and More, and I had a lot of fun with it. And for the first few months, I mainly did Isle content, but after a while, another DLC gets announced, the Lake Cretaceous Predator Pack, and it might be one of the best DLCs. But I'll talk about that later. But in the coming months after the Predator Pack's released, and I continue playing the game. I continue taking screenshots, but around next March, I was starting to get tired of the game again. And I was on a cruise when the next DLC was announced, the Hybrid Pack, and I was decently excited at the time, but looking back on it, it was pretty scummy to resell old content. But I'll discuss my feelings on it more later in the video. And everything was kind of just after that, until weirdly a few weeks after that, they showed off a Megalodon jaw for some reason. I don't know why they teased that, but it was a prelude for the last DLC that we know of. And everyone was hyped. And a lot of people back then thought it was a Cenozoic creature pack. But after months of waiting, it turned out not to be one. It was a fan favorite pack, plus Thanatos Dracon. And honestly, if it is the last DLC, it wasn't really a bad way to end the game. Megalodon is potentially one of my favorite aquatics now, and they added other fan favorite creatures that people have wanted for a long time. And that's where we are now in the modern day. Jurassic World Evolution 2 is over for that we know of. And now I talked about the timeline of the game, there's only a couple more things I have to do. Rank all the DLCs in the game! Now, most of the DLCs in this game are pretty amazing, except for 3. These 3 are by far the worst, and I could see how anyone could see either one of these as the worst DLC. But in my opinion, the worst DLC in this game is the hybrid pack. Just reselling old content feels scummy, and I really don't feel like a lot of the designs kept up. I really like the Ankylodocus redesign, and it's my favorite hybrid now, and I love it. And when I played the first game, I loved Spinoraptor, but it just doesn't look good anymore. It needed a design update, and just reselling old content to us was just a scummy move. But the one really good thing about this DLC is the cross-species social animations. The Ankylodocus and Ankylosaurus social animation is amazing. My next least favorite DLC at the number 10 spot is the Camp Cretaceous DLC. Monolophosaurus is fine. It's not like great or anything, but it's not bad. I really don't like Scorpius Rex though. I know it's supposed to be ugly, but I just don't like it. And I'm not really a Camp Cretaceous fan, so I'm not really gonna get use out of any of the skins. The only one I consistently use is Big Edie, but that's because I think it looks cool. And it's just too expensive. You get less content than some of the species packs for more money. What the hell? And number 9 on this list is the Deluxe pack. Now, I bought it for pre-order, so it was only a couple dollars extra. I think it was just $8 extra. But now, I think they're selling it for $18 for 5 species? That's almost as much as an expansion. That's stupid. I really like Geosternbergia, but everything else in that pack kind of sucks, and again, reselling old content to us. And this time, it was part of the base game. Why? Now, the next DLCs are quite good, but they just aren't great. There's nothing objectively wrong with them, they're just not the best. The next DLC I put up here is the Late Cretaceous pack. I really like Australovenator, and Styxosaurus is quite solid. I really don't have any feelings towards Alamosaurus. It's not great, not bad though. And Barbarodactylus is fine. I can see how people like this pack, but it just isn't for me. And at number 7 is the Hammond Collection Pack. A pretty decent way to end off the game. Megalodon is one of my favorite aquatics, and I like that they added species that people have been requesting for a long time. I'm gonna be honest about this one. I'm probably gonna get canceled for this. I think Thanatos Dracon is a little overrated, and I think Quetz is better. But Segisaurus is quite good, and I think that creature is underrated, and I don't really use Microceratus much. It's fine. The next DLC is kind of in a category in its own. The Dominion Malta expansion, it was so close to being great, but the final product was off. I love Oviraptor to bits and pieces, but besides that, it's not really the best. I still think it's quite good and you get your money's worth. It's just the others are better. This is a hot take. At number 5, I'm putting the Feathered Species pack. Now, the Feathered Species pack and the next one, the Aquatic Species pack, are neck and neck. I think they're pretty evenly matched. Dinocyrus was my most requested species, and I still love it. Eutyrannus is amazing, but the problem kinda comes with Sinosauropteryx and Jahalopterus. Both of them are beautiful creatures, and I love their designs. They're just small, and you can't get as much use out of the small creatures. And the next pack, like I said, the aquatic pack at number 4 is neck and neck with the others. I think you can just get more use out of all the aquatic creatures. Dunkleosteus is my least favorite, and I still think it's quite great. But Shonisaurus, Nothosaurus, and Archelon are all amazing. They are all in the top 5 best aquatics. And also the Lagoon Rock really spices up the lagoon and gives some verticality to it that was needed. Number 3, I think, is the Cretaceous Predator pack. It was almost there to being the best species pack. Problem is that Tarbosaurus was there. Now, I really don't like the design of the Tarbosaurus, but I like a lot of its animations and skins, so it kind of balances out to me being about it. But the other creatures are amazing. Utahraptor is a little overrated in my opinion. I just don't like its sounds, but it's still one of the best creatures in the game. And Gigantoraptor and Concavenator are both in my top 10, and they're amazing creatures, and I love them. But in my opinion, the best species pack, or I should replace that with my favorite species pack, as this is my ranking, not an objective one, is the early Cretaceous pack. I was surprised thinking about this. Like, Rhedosaurus and Minmi are both in my top 3 favorite creatures. Sungoripterus is a pretty great pterosaur, and Kronosaurus is one of my favorite aquatics. It's top 3 definitely. But my favorite DLC in Jurassic World Evolution 2 is the Biosyn expansion. I don't think there's really anyone saying that this one's not the best. I think it's the objective best one. You get the most bang for your buck. The campaign's actually pretty fun, and you get a fun chaos theory, and the creatures are not always the greatest. I will admit, none of them are reaching my top 10 except Quetz, but they're more consistent. The other 3 creatures, Pyroraptor, Therizinosaurus, and Dimetrodon, are all great creatures. They're not the best, but they're really good. And comparing this to the Late Cretaceous Predator pack, I would rather have a pack with 1 amazing creature and 3 pretty great creatures instead of 3 amazing creatures and 1 creature, because I think consistency is better. But it also just has a fun campaign, and it gives you the most content, and the Biosyn map is really good. So I think the Biosyn DLC is the best DLC in the game and gives you the most bang for your buck. And now everyone, get your handkerchiefs out, because we're going to the emotional part of the video. Jurassic World Evolution 2 is a very important game in my life. It has helped me out through a lot of hard times, and without Jurassic World Evolution 2, I wouldn't be the person I am today, and that sounds really stupid. Obviously, this game isn't the greatest game of all time. It is far from that. It isn't even the best game I've ever played, but it's my favorite. A lot of things in this game are not good. Some of the creature designs, cough, Corythosaurus, oh, sorry, something came over me. I don't know what came over me. But other creature designs like Suchomimus they feel really animal-like and have a lot of personality. And in a video that like 5 people watched, I said Red Dead Redemption 2 was my favorite game of all time. And although it's definitely the best game I've ever played and an objective masterpiece, I have more personal connection to Jurassic World Evolution 2. I have met a lot of great people because of this game, and have bonded with a lot of people because of this game. And this is just the game for me. Sure, I could see Prehistoric Kingdom getting better in a couple years, and I will still make Prehistoric Kingdom content, and I love that game. But Jurassic World Evolution 2 is just special for me. I love just taking screenshots and watching the animals be animals. Most of the social animations in this game, for example, are okay, but some of them, like Suchomimus, really give the animals personality, and that's mainly the reason why I love this game. The dinosaurs, they have so much personality and thought and care put into their animations and sound design and design. Jurassic World Evolution 2 has many criticisms, but it's my favorite game of all time, and it will be for the remaining future, unless if Jurassic World Evolution 3 tops it. Thanks, y'all, for putting up with me just ranting about why I love this game. I know most of y'all did not watch till the end, but if you did, thanks a lot. It really does mean a lot for me. I first got the idea for this video when watching Jade Animation's most recent video about her not being on YouTube forever, and I don't know why, that inspired me to make something great. So I made this video. I love this game, and I'm glad that I have a platform that I'm able to express my feelings on stuff with. This game has helped me out through a lot of hard times, and I just like sharing that with people. I like sharing my love for this game, and that's really all I have to say. Bye-bye, y'all. Have a nice day.